Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekend Rental, episode 98. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. My name, it's Ryan. As always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Biff.
What's up, guys?
Wow, full energy tonight. Love it. All right. As always, if you enjoy our podcast, go over and check out all the great content over at geekade.com. Tons of stuff over there, whether it's video games, music, comics, more. We've got podcasts like the Stone Age Gamer podcast, A Doodle Lord and the Truth, Waveback podcast, Mutant Musings, all sorts of good stuff. It's all there. Just do it. I mean, what's your geek? Geekade, just go. It's a fun site. I mean, I can't say that you'll like all. I mean, none of their stuff on there is as good as our show, obviously. But listen to our show first, then
if you have free time.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure.
Then go listen to the rest of our episodes, and then after that,
this is the longest, strangest plug for Geekade ever.
Tune in next episode when we're dropped from Geekade.
Oh my goodness.
All sorts of good stuff over there, though. For real. I don't know what's been going on. A lot.
So much.
Feel like it's just been a whirlwind since we recorded last. Everything's being pulled off the PlayStation Store. Sony's like, nope, it's coming back. So I think we just missed this news last time where Sony announced they're shutting down the stores for PS3, Vita, and PSP. Now they've had a change of heart and they're shutting down only PSP stores, which makes sense. And apparently there was only like 30 some odd releases that never got a physical one and are gone forever, or at least not available through some other means. I suppose that would be North America focused. I'd imagine in Japan, that's a much different story, but I don't know. I feel a little weird about that.
Weird that it's gone, or
I feel like it's weird that they said it was going to be gone and then they waffled and brought it back, because I feel like they only did that because they had this like huge influx of cash coming in from people like talking about these stores and buying games before they were gone. And now they're like, no, it's okay. We can still continue to make money off this. It really doesn't cost that much to keep the server going.
Right. So like once the profits go down to a certain point, they just do it over again. Say, oh, we're going to close it down.
Just kidding.
Unless you try this Kickstarter, basically.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'm happy. I mean, it's always nice when games don't disappear forever, but seems like a little bit of a weird choice. The Vita, I see more argument for, because there's still a very active small group who supported it and continue to support it. But who's really going to miss the PS3 store at this point? I feel like I haven't played a game on my PS3 and
I think I'll miss it.
Really?
I don't have a PS3. I've never played a PS3, but my guess is I would miss it.
It's like the PS4, but worse.
But worse. Okay. I'll have to check that. out.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
If you love how short the battery life is on your PS4 controllers, wait until you get 10 minutes out of your PS3 controller.
Just constantly plugging it in.
It's literally the reason I never played PS3, because the controllers would never hold a charge if they were sitting idle. So every time I'd go to pick it up, it would be like blinking that I need to charge it. And the only way you could charge that system, at least the only way it's worked for me, was to do it through the USB port on the console. Because a lot of times when I try like wall USB ports, I don't know if like just the wrong amperage or what, but it does not charge. I'm like, screw this. I'm not going to sit here and let my console run for 3 hours with this thing plugged in. Like, I'll just play the Xbox 360. And that's what I did. And that's why the PS3. You just
buy AA batteries if that's dead.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a nice Blu-ray machine, but that's about all I used it for. It's all I still use it
for. Yeah. I probably got into that generation later where the PS3 was definitely making better games than the 360 was at that time.
Around the Uncharted point where it was like kind of starting to turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had PS3 first. But in retrospect, I think Xbox is probably the better console overall.
Yeah, Xbox Live really nailed it. It's funny that you mentioned that because I got them both about the same time. I ponied up for the PS3 Uncharted one. I think it was like 160 gig hard drive, the largest at the time. Cost me $600. And then, or no, it was $500. I think it was a $500 bundle, maybe.
Still.
And then like, yeah. And then like a week later, because I worked at Rent-A-Center at the time, somebody returned like an OG original 360 that was like basically depreciated because we'd made so much money off of it. So I got it for like $4. And then I just played that all the time instead of my PS3. I got through Uncharted. And then I think I bought the Half-Life orange, or I bought the orange box. So I had all the Half-Life games. And then I want to say I pretty much didn't play it after, straight to 360.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And then, my 360 died. Then I had to get another one.
Well, yeah.
And then that 360 died. And I had to get that last small one because it was clearanced out at Kmart. So yeah.
Wow.
That's funny. It is funny how like I've never seen a console like the PS3 to where it just completely sucked air. And then, well, I guess the 3DS same way, but maybe not to the extent. But then when it should have been like being phased out, it hit its stride. Because that generation, remember, was like ridiculously long. It was like a 7 or 8 year generation.
Yeah.
Like if it had been a 5-year generation, PS3 wouldn't be on anyone's radar. I don't even know if people would care about the PS4 because nobody would have had the PS3. It made up all its system sales for the most part in its last like 3 years.
Right. Because it was basically like, do you want to play Last of Us or Connect? Which
right. Yeah, that's true. At the end, Microsoft really got focused on that crap, didn't they? Connectimals, good stuff.
So PlayStation being strange, like we were talking about earlier. So I read an article that PlayStation filed a patent for like PlayStation AI. And essentially what the AI is going to do is, in theory, it learns your gaming patterns as you're playing a game. And then if you need to take a break, or if you get tired, or if you get stuck in a section, that you can just let go and let it take the wheel. And so
dude, that's genius. You ever play those Donkey Kong Country games where you bring in the white monkey and he just like runs through the level? Like it's the best crap when you're like, I'm frustrated, this sucks. You press a button and it just goes. I love it.
And then when you pick up the controller, you can take back control and no problems. Yeah. And I just thought it was so strange that, they were really pressing in the article about just needing a break or wanting to eat. And I was like, at some point, if you can't set your controller down to do those things and just like, pause the game,
but that's the problem. They took away the pause button on us. It's like the options button right now, or the stream button. So they have to do something. They took it away.
They even said that it would help out, streamers, that if they were doing multiplayer, that they would still continue to play with,
how's that help?
With other people, so that you can still do your own stuff and then come back to the game. And I was like,
at that point, what are you doing then?
Yeah,
you're not streaming.
These kids are getting so excited. They're like, yeah, I'm playing with Ninja's AI. This is amazing. He's just chilling.
Wow. I do like the idea. I just wonder like how good that technology could be. Because like, think of a game like Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, is it going to know that after watching me play for a while that I'm going to do like 3 missions and then go spend my cash at the strip club? Like, is it going to go do that and like throw out them dollar bills for me? Or what's going to happen there? How good could
that
it be?
That would be really strange. Like you walk out of the room and walk back in and the AI is going to the strip club.
And then your wife's standing there ready to murder you.
Yeah.
Or your child is standing there being traumatized.
Yeah, I just don't see the attraction to it. And maybe that's just very old school in me, that if you can't get through a section, that's your own fault. Figure it out. And you just got to grind it out. And that makes the end so much rewarding. And when you get to this weak world that doesn't want to lose or can't handle the pressure of getting through a level, go find a different hobby. Get out of here,
You're
kid.
not wrong. But like as adults now who have limited time and games, like when I play something like God of War or these other games, I literally choose the thing that says like, hey, I'm just here for the story. Like I want to experience this. I don't want to be frustrated. I don't want this to take longer than it needs to. So I guess this is like the ultimate lazy version of that.
I remember when I was younger playing Gran Turismo and they had like those really long, like 4-hour races or whatever.
That'd be nice.
I would just get the biggest car I had and I would like rubber band a coin to the gas.
Oh my gosh.
And just let it sit because it would hit every wall, but it was still so fast that it'd win the race. So that's what I did for like grinding money in that game just to get new cars and stuff like that. So I feel like if there's people like me that were doing that, they're going to use this system to just be like, okay, I got a new RPG. Let's get to level 99 right away without even looking at the screen. They'll figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, that's true. That would really open up the world of RPGs, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But then like, what's the point?
What's the point of even playing the game if you're not even going to play it?
Well, and to me, like I feel like you have to draw the line at online. The game has an online component, an online multiplayer component. Like this feature should disable with that because that's not fair.
Right.
There are already bots out there. You don't want to be promoting the fact that you're giving everyone a bot. That's not.
No. Yeah, it's really interesting that, even, they're talking about how does this affect, like, I don't know, records and cheating and, all of those kind of things to get through certain situations, I guess. I don't know. Again, this is probably just me saying, don't play it then. Go play chess or, go whatever.
They have bots for that too.
They do. Windows 98.
Yeah, I like Nintendo's approach better. That hey, you seem tired. We're shutting off this console.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's an interesting thing. You think? I just have a hard time seeing like the real application to it. It might be a cool idea, but I don't think they're going to be rolling it out anytime soon on anything. But
I think like the AI technology would be better used for like populating enemy behaviors. Of like if you think of like a time splitters where you had like bots, like if you had bots that could pick up your AI and learn how to play against you, that would be really interesting. Like in offline modes for games that had like arena components or something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Who knows what they'll do with it?
Right.
You never know. Or if they'll do anything. It's Sony. It could just disappear, right?
Yeah. Just a patent.
And then come back.
The same one that I think they have the same patent as like when an ad shows up on something, you yell the brand name and it skips the ad.
Is that a thing?
Oh.
Is that for real?
Really?
It was a patent.
What?
Huh.
Like if a McDonald's commercial came on, you would yell McDonald's and it would skip the commercial.
Brainwashing, and they keep on playing, and you're like, McDonald's.
Here's a scary true story that happened this week about like internet data mining. So Nate was like sending me updates on his arcade cabinet. And he said something about how his butt hurt because he's still sitting on like a wooden bench. It's like, yeah, I really need a seat. So then I quickly Googled like dildo seat and then sent him a picture of like this pad with a dildo on it. And then I was like, yeah, this one's got great Amazon reviews, and sent it to him. So then like 2 days later, I'm on Facebook Marketplace and I can't figure out why I'm getting all these like gay porn and sex toy things in the marketplace. And I sent it to Nate. I was like, should I be worried? He's like, yeah, that probably falls in line with that seat you sent me. I was like, oh, yeah,
I remember
that's it.
Wow.
I had to delete those messages because every time I would scroll through my phone, it was every time I was texting you, because I text you literally every day.
Right.
Like no matter how much I would text, that picture was so big that I was like, oh, there's still more of it. There's still more. So I'd have to like delete that. And then he sent me that DVD collection. I was like, nope, delete that. I get tired of scrolling through all this stuff.
Yeah, that one, it was called Eating Out 2 Sloppy Seconds.
And did you read the bottom DVD? Of it?
Yeah. I did. That's as much as the podcast needs to see. So yeah, it was only $15 if anybody's interested. I think it's probably still.
What was the shipping on that? I think that's important to know.
Yeah, I don't know how sticky that thing would be when you got it. Ugh.
My goodness.
So other things, since we're talking about shopping, so Analog did their last run, the NT Mini Noirs last year, and I was on the fence, almost put in a pre-order for one, and then decided I couldn't justify it. And then I've kind of always been kicking myself ever since. And we did that swap meet a couple months back, and somebody was selling the Noir. They had one there in the last run. Really tempted then again, but I refrained from buying it. And then out of the blue, like 2 weeks ago, Analogs puts a post out that, hey, we're getting rid of the last of the last. It's remaining stock on the Noir, going live whatever day, 8 a.m. And I don't know. I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, I'll look. I'll look and see if they're there. Maybe I'll get one. And I did look, and then I was like,
And you clicked buy.
And then our friend of the podcast, Danton, messaged me, and he's like, hey, they still have them available. I was like, all right, that's enough of a sign for me that, yep, I'm going to buy that now. So I have Noir coming. Should be here on Friday.
If we reminded the podcast quite a few episodes ago, you're like, my AVS, this is what I need. And this is it. This has got everything that I need. Mm-hmm. And now I go over to your house and you're like, yeah, I could sell that ABS probably. And just dump
it's push
it so
league
fast.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
What are some of the features on that thing?
It's just an FPGA. It's got RGB out, I think. It's got HDMI. Got like it can process the different audio chips too from the Famicom. You can like adjust the audio. It'll play, it's one solid block of aluminum, the shell, and then it'll play Famicom and NES games. And then you can hack the firmware and put those cores in there. So I'll be able to play like the Atari stuff, Game Boy Advance, maybe Game Boy Color for sure. I think like the SG-1000 Master System stuff. There might even be a TurboGrafx core for this. So essentially,
a Raspberry
I can load this
Pi.
up with an SD. I can load this up with, but better, because it's technically not emulation. It's replication of hardware. So it's like the experience, right? So that's really the appeal. Like there was no reason for me to get it to play Nintendo games, but it's like Nintendo stuff plus the other cores. I still can't justify it. It was just
like shopping sprees. I was like, oh
big,
my
stupid
goodness.
Purchase. I know.
MXPX. All of that.
I know. I've been buying some big things. My wife was giving me crap. Dang it. I deserve it. I don't know why I deserve
worked
it.
hard for this.
I don't deserve it. But yeah, so I'm really excited. That's kind of like, well, and the other justification for it too, not that I needed it at all, but it's like, this is the last one. This will never go down in value unless I break it, which shouldn't happen.
What if it shows up like your AVS where you couldn't get it to work?
Oh my God.
And they're like, yeah, take it apart. Solder a couple things.
I think that's kind of part of the reason too. I was more tempted, just like, even though I've gotten the AVS working and it works great for the most part, it still does the weird shit. It just makes me feel like it's going to fall apart someday.
So sell it to me.
And it took some of the fun out of it. Like I still don't trust that console. I don't know. So yeah, that's coming, the Noir.
It's going to be sweet.
Be fun. I'm excited. Play some Nintendo. Probably, maybe.
Probably not.
Nah, probably not. But it'll look nice on the shelf. I guess.
You've gotten the Premier NES. Like, what's the next step after that?
Well, I'm going to get their Analog and Duo. I'm going to get the Duo from them. The Ultimate TurboGrafx thing that's coming out. And then that, I don't know that I really need more than that. I don't care about Super Nintendo enough to need it in HD. I don't need a Genesis in HD.
Pocket?
I don't think I need the Pocket. It's back in stock, and there's a new add-on for that for the card too, for TurboGrafx that'll release with the Duo. So yeah, I've kind of been thinking of just like really refocusing on my collection. because it really, like, you got to that point where like I was just buying everything because it was supposed to be mostly just me getting Nintendo stuff, like NES, and then it just became everything. Like maybe I didn't need everything. Like I never thought I was getting back into the PS2. Do I need a PS2? No. Do I play my PS2? Sometimes. Do I want all that shit on the wall? Probably not. So I'm thinking about just like fire sailing a lot and just going back to Nintendo. My kids love Nintendo. I love Nintendo. I don't know. And with new consoles, I don't really buy too much physical. I mean, on PS4, I buy a lot of digital. I'm not going to buy Xbox stuff. I got the PC. So maybe I'm good. Maybe I just do Nintendo stuff.
I feel like I'm in that same boat. Not necessarily fire selling anything, but I've kind of had this like renewed collecting spirit in a way where I'm excited again about garage sales and, thrifting and stuff like that. And the reality is I'm probably not going to find heavy hitters or anything really interesting, but for some reason I'm excited. I'm excited to go out and see if I can't find something and kind of get that joy of the hunt back, where there were weekends that you'd never find anything. And then but next weekend I'm going to find something. And I have been feeling that a little bit. We went to Comic-Con, local Comic-Con last weekend. And I think that kind of helped the process, and probably doesn't help that I've been binging Game Chasers. And
when you text me that you're finally watching that after I've been telling you for years to watch it, I was like, really? Now he's getting into
I've
it?
caught an episode here and there. And so I just kind of went back and was watching some of that stuff. And I don't know, kind of put things back in perspective for me, where I have that renewed sense of maybe finding something, and we'll see. We'll see how long that lasts. Maybe one weekend of garage sales, I'm like, this sucks. I'm out.
My thought, well, I'm kind of with you too. And like my thought again on hitting garage sales hard again and like focusing my collection is, you have that tendency when you go out and find something for a console, even if it's not one you particularly love, if you know it's valuable and you get a good deal, you hoard it. So if I can just go back to like flipping that stuff like I do with RPGs and just not, if I don't keep that stuff in my collection, that pays for like the stuff I do want. So I think it just kind of makes more sense. Like I have so much stuff that, especially with like the 3DO, that's like, I have all this stuff that's a great laugh, like once a year not even once a year, like once every few years when I hook it up. And then I was thinking, I've been watching some other people clear out stuff. And then I always remember and like appreciate like Retro Rob and his stance and everything. Like his policy is always, if I haven't played it in a year, it leaves my collection. And like I look around my game room, I'm like, oh, that's like
90%
of this. I mean, not necessarily games, but console.
Yeah.
He's like, if I don't play a console or a handheld, it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And when I met you guys messed me up. It's your fault.
Oh yeah, we totally pushed you into buying. I was so pressuring you.
I was like not going out of my comfort zone. Anything Nintendo, that's what I'm going to be
10
doing.
Super Nintendo games, I think, when you started.
Yeah, and now you're like, oh no, you need this TurboGrafx 16. Oh, that Saturn, you're going to want these games. And I'm like, why do I have this stuff that, I don't know, I'm not too excited about? They're cool.
Yeah.
They're cool, but I kind of miss the days of extremely focused collection.
100%. Plus we go to conventions all the time and you see this stuff. Like it was cool. Like when I was first finding this stuff, because it was my first experience and only experience with it, but like I can get a lot of this stuff other places. So
yeah. I mean, at the same time, all that other stuff that you didn't care about, you got it because it was there cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, this is full price. I want this too. I'm going to buy this,
Yeah, and it was that initial excitement of, oh, here's this kind of like historical thing that nobody's seen, and then, but after that, like it's like your pet, you hug it, you play with it, and then like the dog grows up, and you're like, get the fuck out of here. You're not cute anymore. And that's how I feel about some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's true. Well, if there ever was a time to get rid of it, it is right now.
Yeah, we live in bizarro world at the moment.
Yeah, it's really nuts. I kind of went through a lot of stuff that I just had sitting around for years. And man, it in the last 3 months, probably it doubled, quadrupled in price. And so it's really strange. I mean, part of it, I think a lot of it is, especially the PS3 stuff, was from the store closing down, all that news. But it's not like the prices on those just dropped immediately the next day either. So it's weird. I've sold a lot the last week and a half, and probably be looking into more of my stuff.
So what caused you to go back and start looking at, these things and values? Was there something that you saw, or just kind of felt like you should sell something?
The first thing I saw was some PSN online game, or it was a collection of indie games that came out on disc.
Oh, was that like Flame Man and like Princess?
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
it's got a couple other things.
It used to be so cheap.
Yeah, that goes over $100 now.
Wow.
And that one made sense because it's like, okay, the digital games are going away. This is the only way to do it. But then looking at everything else, it was just crazy how everything else is just jumping in price. I mean, what did I sell on there? 3D Dot Game Heroes for $100.
What?
Yeah.
I bought that for $5. I should sell that. That's a great game, but it's not that great.
Right. Yakuza Dead Souls I sold for 120. Puppeteer for over 100.
I do have Yakuza Dead Souls. I bought it for $6. That's $100 game right now.
I think mine was sealed, but still, it's quite a bit.
Oh my gosh! All right. Well, now I'm all fired up. I need to look at this row of PS3 behind me. I have a lot of factory sealed too, because like I said, I bought a lot of stuff on clearance for PS3, and I just never played any of it.
Yep. According to price charting right now, what do you think the most expensive, just standard release DS game is right now?
DS?
Nintendogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Nintendogs.
What do you mean by standard release? Like not special edition?
No, like special edition or weird stuff to it.
Hawaii 5.0?
Nope. For DS, it's Pokemon Gold or Heart Gold.
And what does it go for?
Which, I sold a complete copy of Heart Gold for $200.
Oh,
what?
Man.
And I think Soul Silver was around there too.
What about that Pokemon Ranger game? Is that worth anything?
It probably is now, if you got it complete, especially.
I do. Or no, I have it loose, but even so.
Just the cartridges for like Heart Gold and Soul Silver are like $150. It's like, think of how many of those are out there.
Millions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, well, I know what I'm going to be doing Friday night.
I guess this weekend we're going to start picking through our collections.
Yeah, this is working out perfectly. I just wanted to rant about how much I hated the PS3, so why am I hanging on to these?
Yeah. Wii as well. There's a lot of Wii stuff going up.
Yeah, I was even looking through my GameCube stuff. I'm like, well, do I really need Twilight Princess? Because I've got a case and manual, plus I've got the game complete. I have the HD version on Wii U. It's going to be ported to Switch this year, I'd imagine. Maybe I just get rid of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And Billy Hatcher. I'd take $100 for that. I kind of want to know what that Disney game I traded you is now worth that you traded on already. That's probably insane.
Man, I don't even want to know that. Yeah.
Look it up. I'm curious. I needed to get a live reaction here. It's probably like a $400 game now.
Was that the Mickey Mouse
Disney
Racers? Basketball?
No, basketball.
No, basketball. I got it for $6 originally. It was worth $100 at the time. 100 plus.
The suspense is killing me.
Oh, please.
Actually, let's take a guess. Let's take a guess quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
for a complete copy.
Complete copy. I'm going to go $350.
I'm going to go $175.
Complete copy sold on March 29th for $500.
Oh my sweet Moses.
There was even a better condition one apparently for $800.
Whoa.
I want to throw up right now.
It's like it's one thing if things go up $20. Like that's what I noticed at Comic-Con. Like, oh, some of these prices are up a little bit.
Right.
But when you're
talking
about hundreds of dollars,
$800.
this never happened with NES games or even Super Nintendo games.
So this puts everything in perspective. When I was out at the swap meet in St. Cloud and the guy was like, COVID prices or stimulus prices, and he wouldn't waver. Well, maybe the guy wasn't a complete idiot. But still, I mean, he was an idiot.
There, he should have been at
right.
home
He should have been on Amazon,
eBay.
Or eBay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I got to go through some of my. I don't know that I could part with a lot of my GameCube stuff, but if I have
so much,
if it's a game that I have that's also on another platform, like man, why not? Although I don't know.
That cracks.
I said I was refocusing to Nintendo.
I'd be selling everything.
Lying if I sold my Nintendo, right?
If I were to sell my GameCube, I wouldn't sell everything.
Yeah, I'm sticking with I want to keep Nintendo stuff at least.
Define Nintendo.
Nintendo everything.
Okay.
Any system I would like to keep the libraries.
Are you gonna go through your NES collection though, and just part with some maybe things that you're not interested in?
I mean, I thought about it, but then it also seemed foolish after I just bought a $500 boutique Nintendo. So no.
I do want to point this out, and I haven't pointed this out, but last week Comic-Con we went to. I was going to go.
Yeah, we all went.
And Ryan's like, "Hey, let me go with you, or let's go together. Let's meet." So that his sole and it's just an observation when I'm walking through.
Why do I have some agenda? No,
there's an agenda.
You're making this weird.
We're not done. So when we're walking in the vendor hall, like we are so competitive in spirit that side by side, speed walk into the table, and then he sees me like looking around, and eventually I move on to the next table. And sure enough, he's like, you're pulling a Douglas on me, and you move to the next table, and then I move to the next table, and you're scurrying to the next table, just fearful that I'm gonna find some bin of stuff. And so last week carries over to this week, where there's a citywide garage sale.
Oh, that's gonna get ugly, man. You know what's gonna be bad.
So excited, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to this garage sale," and he's like, "Yeah, I got plans with my family." And then I get a text like 30 minutes later. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go to the garage sale first, and then I will help my family out." And so he's willing to move his entire schedule in fear that I'm going to find something that he doesn't get.
No, that's not true. I wanted to go to I wanted to go to this thing, and I knew I was going to potentially be out of town.
You didn't even know when it was.
I know, because you said they weren't doing it. You thought it would have already happened. So when you sent me the dates, I was like, yeah, I want to go, but I got this thing. But if it opens at 7, I can still go do my thing and go.
Screw my family.
I'm still helping. No, I'm still helping. But yeah, it's funny because the last time they had one of those pre-COVID, I don't think anyone's ever ran through that garage sale as fast as Nate and I did. Because you just neither one of us were letting the other person out of our sights, and we just fucking bolted through this thing. And then had to go read through. We had to go back through everything again.
It's so bad.
Pulling a Douglas is a thing. Because when at that Comic-Con that we were all at, which it was fun. Andy came out too. We get to the other section, and all of a sudden I look down and Nate's just bolting. I see him moving really fast in the opposite direction, so I know he sees something. So I turn and run around the other way. And sure enough, he pulled the Douglas, and he's boxing me out from this pile of NES games. The real move.
Classic.
See, from my perspective, it looked like you guys were just trying to beat the reseller. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, man. No, you are so casual. You're like, I'll pick up the scraps. This is classic, where we speed through the tables. And then at the end of the day, we may have 1 or 2 games, and Andy's coming out with boxes and boxes of stuff every time.
It was the most restrained I've seen you, Andy. But did you buy stuff after we left?
No, not really.
It was his son holding my hand. That's why he was so restrained.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Yeah. Well, it was still a good time. I mean, that Comic-Con is not exactly, I don't want to poo-poo on it. It's not exactly a premiere show, but something to do. And our buddies Mobile Game World were there. I got to complete my Mega Man set, got a couple cool boxed Super Famicom games.
Yeah.
I like the artwork. Nate or Biff, you found some good stuff.
Got to beep out so much today.
It's impossible. Yeah.
Yeah. You completed Mega Man 1 and 5. That's a big deal. I talked you into that one.
Yeah. I was only going to buy one potentially, and then you just kept pressuring me. I was like, fine, I'll just buy them both.
I think the coolest find of like video game find for I think anybody was those Super Famicom boxes. I thought that was cool. And the Yoshi's Island, that was cool. I kind of wish I snagged that one, but I got Pilot Wings instead, and I came home and put it on a bottom shelf where you can't even see it.
Yeah, I still have to display mine yet too. I haven't put any of that away, but yeah, I thought I didn't realize the box art was that neat for Yoshi's Island on Super Famicom. Pretty cool looking.
Well, and that other one too never came over here.
Yeah, that shooter. What the hell is it called?
Some shooter collection.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
They like remade it in 16-bit, or is it just the 8-bit
shooting collection? It doesn't look like they've been upgraded too much. If I had to guess, maybe they're like arcade versions, because these games are pretty early anyway, 85, 86, and 87. So you got like Star Force, Star Soldier, and then Hector 87. Pretty neat. There's like the shot is strange. Maybe it's the people at Taito who worked on this. I'm not sure, but there's just like the top third of the box is just like thousands of Asian people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sitting there.
Oh, wow.
So that's the thing.
That makes sense.
But
all those people can't be wrong.
No, they can't. Pretty cool.
So part of my
for sale and use in Japan only. I guess I had to get rid of some
no, you gotta sell it. So my Comic-Con experience, I'm not a comic guy. You guys aren't really comic guys either. So when you get in that setting as a gamer, I now know like how my wife feels when she goes to those video game events and she's like, what? I don't even understand the process. And that's how I was with these comics, where everything's in these like long boxes. It looks like no labels. I'm like, how do you even know what to look for? At least when you're video games, you can glance down, see the labels. I'm like, how do you could spend hours just flipping through, kind of like vinyl hunting at a thrift store.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so bizarre. So Ryan was talking about this Game Boy comic, and I was like, easy, I'll find it for you, no problem. And me never buying comics, I'm going up to random comic people and saying, yeah, I'm looking for that Game Boy one, and they just blank stare at me like, oh, you're an idiot, because I'm just standing there like, just if you could get that for me wherever it is in your boxes. And they're like, oh no, we don't have that. So
yeah, I never quite knew if you were trying to find it for me or if you were trying to buy it first and then gloat that you got it and I didn't.
It might have been slightly loaded.
Yeah, it was at the last Comic-Con they held, and like some guy had it on the back wall for display, which is the only reason I even knew about it. Because I'm not digging through the bins either. Not a comic guy, but I think they wanted like $30 or whatever. And I'm like, it's not that cool. But now I'm like, well, I kind of wish I'd have bought that, because in hindsight, it is pretty cool. But
yeah, apparently it's a lot harder to find. One specific comic is a lot harder to find at a Comic-Con than it is anywhere else.
I don't know. I mean, Nestor, he's right in every Nintendo Power. He's right there.
It's true.
It's true.
I didn't even see any of those there this year. Not even like GameCube era stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such an intimidating thing.
Yeah. And like I saw some bins would say like key issues, which I assume means like this, all the ones that have the first appearance of whatever hero or whatever. And it's like, how are you supposed to even know that stuff and navigate it? I don't know.
Did you see a lot of people hunting for comics? Were there a lot of people flipping through comics, or was it really?
I feel like it didn't seem like there were a lot of people buying comics, right? Or am I crazy?
No. Yeah,
it was not like the swarm of people. Like, it wasn't people swarming on a bunch of video game tables like you see at a gaming convention. It was just like there were people there selling comics, and maybe one person was standing there.
Right.
Really odd. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you're not hearing about that. You hear about baseball cards and Pokemon cards are going crazy, like is comics doing the same thing? I don't know.
It's a foreign world to me. All of it.
Yeah. Well, at least Andy and I got a bunch of like weird import Japanese candy there with their family. So that was a win.
Yeah. The Kit Kats that my wife said is literally soap.
The sake ones?
Yeah.
We got some of those too, and I hated that. Gross.
Do you really feel that Japanese people eat and drink those things, or are they like stupid Americans? Let's just slap some labels on some soap and see what they do about this.
There was a fair amount of like product of Japan manufactured in like Ohio.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder,
Stupid nerds are going to go for this.
Yeah. I mean, the Kit Kats were definitely from Japan. And I think they do eat some weird Kit Kats over there. But yeah, I kind of started questioning that as I was looking through some of those brands. Like it's either for, like you said, dumb Americans, or maybe these are actually things that, Japanese Americans, those who have like come over crave. So there's a market for it, but who knows? It's tough to tell when you live in like the least culturally diverse state in probably the country. Maybe Alaska's less than us, but.
No, Alaska's more diverse.
Yeah, probably. Oil.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was fun though. I think I would try to get some of those again. It turns out it's the crappy, I shouldn't say that. That's rude. It's the little comic shop in the ghetto strip mall not too far from my house that sells that stuff. So I guess I can go get my Japanese candy fix. My kids
Whenever
loved it.
Want.
I should stop over there sometime. I've been wanting to pop in, and that's a place that I've driven by so many times, but you're not really sure where exactly it's at, because you see storefronts that look a little shady, and so you don't know what door to go in. Where is this comic shop, quote unquote?
It's up a weird set of stairs.
More intimidating.
No. Yeah, because it was like up a flight of stairs into what I suspect were maybe offices at one point that might now be or like apartments. I'm not sure.
Rooms. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's like up in this weird spot, and the ceiling's probably about 6.5 feet high. It's very eclectic, I would say, is maybe the word for that. That entire strip mall needs to be just bulldozed, though.
No games.
An eyesore. No games, gaming merch. Yes, and some really cool import figures and things.
What do you think he pays for rent?
Hopefully not much. I mean, really.
$50, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
they're paying.
I can't imagine. That building just needs to be. I just need, like, I told my wife, I was like, man, every year, like, I get more and more tempted to just like maybe kick over a can of gas and like light a match.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I just need that to be. I just need that place to be condemned.
What if that place burned down tomorrow and people are gonna be like, "Oh,
the city has put so much money into renovating this area of South Fargo, and like everything for the most part is getting better and cleaner, and that's the one holdout. And it's just plus I hate that Dwayne's House of Pizza is on the end there, right next to an intersection. Because when I'm coming home from work, every time, like at least once a week, I'm caught out in the middle of the intersection because I'm turning, and then 5 dipshits in front of me are also turning at the turn light, but then they're turning right into Dwayne's House of Pizza, and there's nowhere to go, so we're all stuck, and I got people honking at me.
And I'm like, "What? The cash-only Chinese restaurant, right?"
Which is excellent, except I don't carry cash, so yeah, I never eat there.
Yeah, cash.
Plus, it's absurdly expensive. It's good, but yeah, I don't understand the fascination with this town and Dwayne's House of Pizza. Like, I could shit on a cracker and put cheese on it too, but I don't. I mean, I don't know why people buy it. Terrible.
Oh my gosh.
People need it. Dwayne's just go to hell.
Not making commercials.
Oh, love your neighbor.
We went there. We've ordered it once, and we went and ate in the restaurant once, and literally it smelled like the toilet just overflowed. I'm like, this is the worst thing ever.
As you're walking out of the bathroom. Again.
No,
Okay.
it was just like sitting in. I think the whole store is the bathroom. So the joy of domains.
Wow, I know the owner listens to this show, so
This is me.
wow. All right.
Sorry, this is gonna make no sense to anyone who doesn't live in Fargo.
So
So
they're like, "What's Dwayne's House of Pizza?"
this Ryan guy's really mad about this Dwayne's. I don't know.
So our neighborhood being our city, Fargo, is growing in a unique way. So my kids are already going through the process of middle school and just preparing for that next year. So they've had a lot of Zoom conferences, just what to expect when you're going to junior high. It's really lame, weird stuff. You know, they're talking about curriculum. They're talking about even just like body changes and showering for gym and all of those weird things. But they were talking about some of the just extracurricular activities, and they were really pushing e-gaming. They have e-gaming clubs now, which I thought was just really unique that schools are opening themselves up to that. And so yeah, my son was just kind of boringly like laying on the floor listening to this whole conversation between my daughter and all the classmates, and then they said e-gaming, and he shot right up and he's like, I can't wait to go to junior high. And he's so excited about e-gaming. Yeah, it just made it interesting that something so competitive is now it's inter school, so you play other schools right. Locally here. So it's just kind of interesting to see that progression happen.
Yeah, it's cool. And back in my day, you just got your head slammed into a locker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's a sport.
Those people that got their heads slammed are now teachers. And they're like, yes, you need an e-gaming. We will help you with that. What do you think they're playing?
Probably like League of Legends. And I mean, I would imagine that's heavily PC based, but you know, because you're probably using what the computer lab is capable of, which probably not too much, let's be honest.
You don't think you couldn't really promote a violent game. I mean, even Fortnite might be something that they're like, you probably can't do.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's MOBAs if I had to guess, but who knows?
Splatoon, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's too old to be like Minecraft Lego Club type shit, right?
They have those.
Yeah, right. But it wouldn't be like junior high competitive anything.
Yeah.
Well, I could see Overwatch being one they would possibly do too, especially since it's on PC now and is pretty much like the least violent shooter. You know, there's no blood. There's just dumb characters. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's a cool option. I mean, you know, when we were in school, it wasn't a thing. Like you'd get to school early and try to hang out in the computer lab and play whatever, like cracked version of Snood they had or something. But that was kind of it, right?
Yeah.
The trajectory for going pro is a much shorter time ramp than any of the other sports, though. That's
the thing too with like e-gaming is like, I know it's like I don't think any of us really get into like the actual like full on, you know, pro stuff, but it's still just bizarre to me that there's all these kids and like young adults making like all this money and all these investors pumping money into it. And from my understanding, none of these have been revenue generating leagues, like none of them. So it's like, when does that dry up? Like, I mean, will it eventually get to the point where it can be profitable or, you know, when are these investors and backers going to stop dumping money into it?
Right. Because is it just ads that's fueling the income?
I suppose, the revenue? And then probably the devs, because they're like, well, we could pay like 10 million for advertising, or we could just have all these people see our logo at an arena.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I don't want to poop on it. It's not my thing, but like, it's amazing that can happen. But will it ever break through to, I mean, I guess they talked about Olympic, right? Like potentially Olympic.
So bizarre.
Gaming, which it is bizarre. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird world. They got
guys like stretching before and come out with the national anthem. And I don't know. It's just picture wearing spandex. Oh yeah. Sweatbands.
All the Magic the Gathering guys have to be pissed though that like League of Legends lapped them to official sport.
That's true. Right. Yeah. Good point. That's been organized for years. Oh, yeah. Man. Well, that's cool. I'm sure my son will also perk up when
it's the same
gets
school
his shot. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I know you reminded me how they were doing the like income based shift. You were upset that your children would have to slum it with the poor side of town.
Whatever. Oh my gosh.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I don't know. You should be a little afraid that.
Have you seen that strip mall that's over by where he lives?
That's right. That damn Dwayne's. It's the hood. That school though, there is that kid getting charged for assaulting a teacher, like full on, like I don't know what age, 13-year-old or something, just like full on decked a teacher who was trying to break up a fight.
Yep.
And they're putting criminal charges on. I think he's being charged as a minor, obviously.
Yep.
But holy crap. So it makes me a little nervous. I mean, that could happen anywhere, but like it sucks that it's in the same school that my kids will eventually go to.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we had kids punching people too in Lisbon when I grew up. So
yeah.
Although it seemed a little more harmless back then because teachers would punch you too. So
I think your son with his video game skills, to kind of get back to that esport, I feel like he'd be very desirable and you should start recruits going after him. Like, what middle school should I play for? And mom and dad, I'm decided to sign with XYZ, but that kid,
he's got the mindset for it.
Your son would really enjoy that.
Yeah. I had a little bit of a problem with him kind of tying back to some of your Fortnite stuff and your son, where I gave him an old headset. I had a old Turtle Beach that he's been putting in and using it as the headphones. So he's been playing a lot of Fortnite, and I hadn't realized that he's been turning party chat on. So he's been talking to people, and he's coming out. He was like all happy. He comes out and he's telling me, "Well, yeah, I killed a YouTuber. My teammate, my friend on there told me I killed a YouTuber." I'm like, "What? Who are you talking to?" He's like, the blah, blah, blah. He's nice. I'm like, no. I'm like, give me your Switch. So I immediately like logged him out and put him into singles queue, solo queue only. I'm like, dude, I don't care if you play Fortnite, but we've talked about you not having party chat on before. Like, this is like, granted, he was excited and he had somebody in there who was nice, but you know, the next game could be someone telling you to go slit your wrist. So,
and Fortnite is such a
like
broken. Yeah, it's a great game, but it's still very broken. Where if you get, so let's say you're playing duos with a friend or even solos, and then all of a sudden someone sends you a request and you don't respond or you decline it or whatever, you die, go back into the lobby, and you just automatically click to like get back into another game. That's what everybody does. But it all of a sudden sets you up as like a party in a group with just random people. And I wish they had some type of patch to not do that.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
Tough it's hard for a parent to monitor that, where he's like, I was in solos, and then all of a sudden these guys were talking to me. I wish they could take care of that somehow. I'm sure it's not hard.
They just need to implement a like 13 and under mode or like parental mode where like it just disables party chat across the board. Because it's weird that they didn't do that once they came to Switch, because Switch is so restrictive on that stuff anyway. But yeah, I mean, again, it worked out, I think, in this case. But yeah, I don't like the fact that happened, and it could potentially happen again, like you said, when he goes back to the wrong lobby. You know,
yep,
it's an easy click of a button to switch. So
no, and not even that, it switches for you. So
right.
Has there ever been a competitive game that had that big of demographic, whereas like young kids are wildly into it as well as adults in the same way?
I don't think so, because I don't think there's ever been a game that did leveling and matchmaking and then the bots to the extent that, like, they've made Fortnite so approachable, arguably so approachable to the point that we're like competitive almost seems weird because like they can just change so much depending. But yeah, I doubt it. I can't think of another one.
Yeah, that's got to be a tough problem because like if an older guy was logging onto Neopets, you knew what he was doing, you know? Like,
right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's that art style too. It's cross-generational. Like it's good enough that adults can appreciate it, but it's like cartoony enough that kids get into it. And that's the other thing too, is like, I kind of wish they would tone down like some of like the female character assets in that game too, because of the children playing it. Like, I don't know, the dudes don't run around with like giant pecs and like big crotch bulges. Like, why does every female character have like
giant
Kardashian
crotch
ass
bulges?
Yeah, I don't know. Small complaint. It's still mostly harmless, but
send it to Epic. See what they do.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get them to let me frickin' sync up my Nintendo Switch account so I can get my kid's $40 in V-Bucks on his Switch. I don't think they're much help. So since we're talking about online games, I kind of want to talk about something I sent you guys early. I've been following this for a while, but there's this project that this group has been kind of promoting for the last couple of months called Pie Packer. It's a stupid name. I don't like the name, but I love what they're trying to do. And it's kind of something that I thought a Hyperkin or somebody like that would start to implement in a hardware solution. But what Pie Packer is essentially they want to launch a web-based Google Chrome service that essentially like it combines like a Discord and a Twitch. So you're playing games in browser. Everyone's got video chat so you can communicate. And then also the games that are on there, which are retro focused. It's a very retro focused platform. You can play with your friends. You just invite them to a room and you're all playing like co-op multiplayer on, new homebrew, old games like Earthworm Jim. That's not a good example of co-op, but stuff like that. And they put it on Kickstarter. There's two components to it. There's this web solution, and then there's the second piece where you can get this ROM dumper essentially that they'll manufacture, and it's available through the Kickstarter where you can bring your own games. So now they've got this platform. I can bring my own ROMs to it, invite my friends, and we can play my original cartridges right over the internet, do all the chatting and all this stuff. And it's a really great idea. It's something that obviously can be done in other ways. I'm not going to say that it won't, but I don't think anyone's made it this easy for like casual people, right? And it went to Kickstarter this week on the 20th. You could basically start at $40. You get a 6-month subscription to their alt premium platform. $90 got you lifetime premium. So if you backed it early, $90. The web-based stuff was all unlocked for you. You had early beta access of the games that were included. Because I haven't touched on that yet, but there are 30 games at the start or 60 games at the start that are just native to the service, and it will be expanding. And it's good stuff too. It's not just junk. I did see Glover was on there. That is junk. But then for $160 at the backer level, you could get the ROM dumper thing, which is basically like looks like a console. They've got proprietary cartridge slots. You can get NES, Super Nintendo, and Genesis right now. You could get to pick two of those three at $160. And then additionally, that ROM dumper thing also has 4 USB ports in the front of it. So you can do at-home couch co-op with whatever controllers you want. It's like bring your own controller, bring your own keyboard. I don't know. I'm really excited about it. I think it's like a really great idea. And I like the fact that because I've purchased it, my friends don't have to pay for subscription, but they can still come to my lobby. I think that's really smart. The only thing I'm fearful of is what they're doing from a web standpoint, and that in browser stuff and the curated game list, it's on the up and up, right? Like that it makes perfect sense. They're licensing, they're getting deals. It's a great idea. Where I start to get concerned for them is with the hardware part, because how is Nintendo going to look at me taking my games off the cart, dumping the ROM, and then sharing them with my friend when they also have Nintendo Switch Online and some of those same games are there? Nintendo's not getting a cut of that. I don't really know. To me, that doesn't seem legal unless everyone I'm playing with can also like scan a copy of the physical copy of the game that I'm also sharing. You know what I mean? So I'm worried that that's going to get them in hot water and possibly into a lawsuit that might shut down the whole project. I don't know. I'm curious, like, did either of you back it? I don't know. I just kind of sprung it on both of you. Didn't know if anyone was interested.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it, and from my point of view, like I don't know if you guys have heard of Parsec, but it's similar to this, except there's not a central service. It's more peer-to-peer.
Okay.
So like I can start RetroArch or something on my computer and then open up a lobby and then, set controller imports to you,
Sure.
that type of thing. And I'm sure there's like 100 other things that do like something similar. The central store thing is definitely interesting. I guess I didn't see that part, that they're licensing all that stuff. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But my first thought was the same thing. Nintendo is going to, it reminds me of like a long time ago, there was a service where this company had 1 billion different DVD, like real DVD players.
Mm-hmm.
And you would, on the website, you would say, I want to watch this movie right now. And there would be some guy on the other end, like putting the DVD in the DVD player and like sending the stream out.
What?
And they got, the movie studio's gotten a big lawsuit and they lost, and basically said that is a version of copying the movie somehow. I don't know. And I feel like dumping a cart and sending it out is basically the same thing, especially if they're dumping the ROM to their central servers and it's not like.
Well, and they did say it's partitioned. So, okay. So the way they've structured it sounds like there's going to be a free tier for everyone, right? And then there will be a premium tier. And to use the ROM reader, you need to have the premium tier, which partitions and curates a section only for you to store your ROMs. But still, the fact that I'm sharing them with people who don't also own them, even for a limited time, I think is the questionable area.
Right. So I wonder if they like just hook you up together then, not through, to their servers at that point.
Right.
Or if they just make a lobby to the ROM on your computer. And
it sounded, again, I don't know all the logistics of it, but it sounded in reading about that it is just local to your particular instance or whatever, but who knows? I mean, I don't know everything about it.
Sure.
But I'd hate for that one part of their plan. And it's a cool part of their plan, but I'd hate for that to like ruin what is otherwise, I think, a really cool and probably needed service. It's a lot of fun, especially in COVID times.
They're going to have a back business. They're going to create a ROM website and everyone's doing all the work for them, dumping everything for them and curate it.
I mean, that's a big thing, right? Like outside of Nintendo, nobody's really goes after this stuff at all.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's a really cool premise. I'm pretty excited for it. I'd be more excited if I had a couple other friends who were going to be on there and playing it too. But
yeah, I hope you find them.
We can hop on Parsec right now and do it.
Yeah, $90. Throw $90 out there. But it sounds like I'll still be able to invite you guys to sessions and throw a thing, because the stuff that's in the 60 games that are included in the growing list that's just part of the service is good stuff too. It's like they got Micro Mages, they got Coffee Crisis, like a lot of that sort of good indie stuff, and then there's some retro stuff in there too. So it is fully funded. They were only asking for $75,000. They got it in 20 hours.
Wow. So. Kickstarter is amazing.
I mean, it is a really good idea. It's going to be a numbers game, right? Well, it's going to be a don't get sued, but then it's also going to be a numbers game. Like, do you have enough people paying for premium? Like, they're going to have to get more games added to make that work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But I wonder what the, everybody says, I just want a subscription of old games. And that might be true, but I feel like a lot of the people that own the games aren't there to, I don't know, just have them at the ready, because otherwise they'd have ROMs, right?
Right. Well, and I think, like I said, I think there is a free version. So I think even if you're just the casual person who wants to like dabble in this, I think you'll still be able to get access to part of the platform and the games that they have. Is I don't know. I think it's really cool. I like the video chat option. I mean, it's as close to being in the same room and doing couch co-op as you can get, and doing it with a retro style game is, I don't know. I think it's pretty exciting. I think it's an idea that might die out, but I'm excited to give it a shot. So I did go for the console. We're doing 160. I only went 90 at first, and I was like, I'm like, part of the neat part of this is the ROM dumper, right?
Did you see that glass dome? You need that.
It's $25 for the glass dome, and I do not need that. I can go to like Hobby Lobby and buy that if I want that.
So you have another NES coming?
Well, it won't play the games without the software, but yes, technically I do. But I don't think that ships until, I think they're saying end of the year, where with my Kickstarter access, once they launch the platform in beta next month, I'll get to start using it. So we'll have to test it out. We'll have to do some weekend rental nights.
Yeah.
I like it.
Should be pretty cool. And speaking of weekend rentals, man, we've been all over with DVDs hooked up to the internet and stuff. Did anybody see that last Blockbuster documentary on Netflix yet?
No.
So it just hit, I think. We watched it. It's about the last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. And I even hate to call it a documentary. I don't know if they did a great job. Like, they follow around the family who work at this Blockbuster, and then they have like weird celebrity cameos and like narrations by like Ron Funches, Doug Benson, who's like eternally high out of his mind. So those were just a little unsettling. But basically they kind of were, it's interesting. It's fun. It's a nostalgia trip, right? Like, so many people talk about their memories of renting and stuff, but they don't really spend a lot of time talking about what led to the downfall of Blockbuster. They don't really get into the kind of interesting backstory parts. They kind of gloss over all of it. And then it's just weird cut shots of the day-to-day struggle of this manager and the couple employees who continue to work there, and like, dusting off motherboards from like Blockbuster PCs they got through like liquidation from some other like fire sale. So they can like mangle together their hodgepodge system. And I don't know.
Aren't they like buying it like at retail from other stores or something too?
Yeah, it was really strange. And then they touched just very loosely on how they almost lost like the renewal of the Blockbuster license. And I don't know. It was cool. It was a neat little nostalgia trip. It was just kind of like this maybe sort of crudely constructed half story about Blockbuster. Like,
did they talk about their income at all?
No.
I would just be so curious how many people utilize it outside of the, I went to the last Blockbuster. I would be curious how often people are coming in. Are Fridays busy, or just people laugh at that as they drive by?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was mostly at this point just the whole nostalgia, or like the, not nostalgia, but the social media factor, right? It was just a lot of YouTubers coming through and filming in the store and that sort of crap,
Did they like, is it kind of a tourist trap thing now too? Or
yeah,
is
it's pretty much a tourist trap.
Yeah.
She makes her own shirts. Like, they showed her ironing like crap on shirts to sell in the store, and like stitching beanie hats, and really weird.
Huh.
I don't know.
And what's the reason of not letting it go?
I don't know. Unemployment. She doesn't own it. She's just the manager of it.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting. It did kind of get me fired up though, thinking like, man, I should just start going to like every garage sale and thrift store and just buying thousands of VHS tapes for like a penny a piece, and then just open a rental store. Like, I can afford to lose all the inventory. You know what I mean? Like, just have a boutique, crappy rental store where like you rent out the VCR. Just, people would come in and be like, kids, look at this. I used to have to do this every Friday night, and like put the tape in. And
that would be awesome.
It would be freaking sweet. It would be a money pit, but it would be fun.
Huh. It'd be cool.
You'd have to like get those converters though for like the RCA cables to HDMI because nobody's got RCA inputs on anything anymore.
Hook up some frame meisters to the back of VCRs.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it'd get a little expensive fast. Yeah. I feel like there's a market for that though. Maybe not in a town of our size, but like, well, I know there are niche stores in other cities where like they can still survive being like the, kind of touristy trap rental store. Like it'd be cool to see something like that open. I would definitely go.
You'd have to have the niche stuff in there then too, which might be hard to find.
Right. That's true. But I think you could find some of it. I think if you were persistent enough, you'd find a lot of that on VHS eventually. DVD and stuff, maybe not.
Yeah.
Strictly VHS.
Our local Goodwill raised the prices on VHS.
What?
You can believe that? Yeah.
How much?
It's 49 cents a piece now.
Oh man, that's too much.
It used to be $5 for $1.
Dang it.
Gotta rip off.
They must be ahead of the game. They're like, these guys, they got these crazy ideas of opening a VHS store. We got to cash in.
I found so we got rid of all of our VH stuff, like kind of when we bought our house, 13 years ago. But I saved the ones that were like important to me. And I recently found that box and just like laughed at myself. So here's what Ryan saves that is important to him on VHS. The original Star Wars trilogy before he ruined it and
Naturally.
edited it. That one's legit. I saved.
Everyone does.
I saved the It Came from Bremerton documentary on MXPX. That came out around 2000, so it makes sense, right? And then for whatever reason, I chose to save Digimon the movie on VHS. I was hardcore into Digimon as like a 17-year-old, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I saved it. Those are the three I kept. Why?
The trilogy for sure. Everybody's got that. Is it the black box?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got that. They got to have that. What I need
to do is go to Goodwill and get one of those like combo things sometimes so I can just burn it to a DVD as I'm playing it and then I don't have to keep the VHS anymore. It needs to happen.
Yeah, that's funny. I found like a small box of like the 5 VHS tapes that I have too. And one of them is Tony Hawk's Tips and Tricks.
Ooh.
So Tony Hawk teaching you some skateboard tricks and some train going up Pikes Peak. It's like just shows the nature of the ride up. I don't know.
Very eclectic. Okay.
And then the Indiana Jones trilogy.
Nice.
Because they only made 3 of them.
Do you want to hear about the VH tapes that I have?
Do you have any? You don't watch movies? Is it?
I don't watch movies.
Was that on VHS?
They're my wife's, and they're in a box underneath the stairs. And if I go there now, I'd be pulling out 3 Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen films.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One I'm trying to remember. It was a soccer one. That's all I know. There's a soccer one, and then there's one where they have a billboard of their dad and something else. Those 3. And then I have Hanson live on VHS.
That one doesn't work, though. It's worn out.
And then a whole bunch of just black tapes that were recorded TV shows of every appearance Michael Jackson made in 1990, whatever. She had a thing for Michael Jackson.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you can just go ahead and get rid of that box, right?
Yeah, I've been trying. It's slowly working its way out, but then it just finds its way back in.
I bet you could get some money for that Michael Jackson tape.
There's a number of them. There's probably 8 to 12.
Man, that documentary could have used that footage.
They could have used the footage.
So since we're talking about VHS, this kind of ties into our last episode. I got a text from our friend Brandon, proudly displaying his VHS copy, Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Yes.
Really? Wow.
He's like, I don't think I could watch more than this like one tape of this show. Like, yeah, that's about right.
Was it the entire lifespan on one VHS?
I'm sure it was one of those things that was like 2 episode or 1 episode. Yeah. But I thought it was just great that he had one.
Crazy.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy.
That's amazing.
I was jealous slightly.
I did pick up some Mortal Kombat animated VHS tape, which I need to throw in and watch. That's got to be.
There was a show
bad.
for a while, right? Was there not a series? I think there was, like on Fox or something.
Maybe that's what it is then.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Maybe not, though. Who knows? There's a lot of weird Mortal Kombat stuff and a new movie coming out
next week.
Well, that looks surprisingly not the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should pick up HBO for a month and check it out.
Watch some Godzilla. And
I did see RV is on there.
It's the greatest movie of all time. We all know that. Robin Williams. Mwah.
R.I.P.
Fantastico. What do you mean, R.I.P.? He's not
Rest
dead.
Rest in peace.
He's alive in my heart every single day.
I was genuinely sad when I found out. It was like such a big part of our childhood with like Aladdin and Mrs. Doubtfire. And I don't usually get like somewhat choked up when a celebrity dies, but that one kind of like made me. Plus his daughter's name is Zelda. I mean,
that is clearly he was
an awesome guy. Well, I have a surprise for you guys. Since we're trying to somewhat structure our show again.
Pants on or pants off?
Pants on, please.
Okay. He said surprise.
So we sort of decided, this is inside scoop for listeners, that we were going to try to get back to more rotational recurring bits. So, talk about a property like a animated series. We did that. Buy, rent, burn. We've done one. The other thing we like to do is trivia. And I thought, since Sony spared the PlayStation 3 and the Vita, it was only fair that since the PlayStation Portable Store is still going away, that we pay our respects in the only way we know how, and that's with trivia. So I sort of stole this one from the Kegcast, but I'm calling this trivia PSP game or not.
Oh, dang it.
Because there's a lot of PSP games.
Go out to try to make me lose. I don't know any of this.
I don't think any of us are PSP guys. So
Andy is.
He's sold some, but that doesn't make him an expert.
No, I don't know much about it.
That's what he says, and then he's gonna.
So how this is gonna work is I wrote down a bunch of game titles here, and some of them are PSP games, some of them are not PSP games.
So do we each have to choose?
You each have to guess PSP game or not.
Okay.
And we'll see who comes out the winner.
Fine.
There was a ton of late life stuff on PSP that I don't think even PSP fans knew about. And there's even more over in Japan that I was amazed at how much is Japan only. So these will get interesting. We're going to start at the top though. PSP game or not. 11 Eyes crossover.
Not.
Is it the sequel to 8 Eyes?
Maybe. You were both incorrect. That is in fact a PSP game.
I did say it is.
Yeah. Beth, I'm not sure on that. Andy, can we check the tape? All right. So you guys both lost 0-0. Next game, Arabian's Doubt.
Not.
That's a porno game, not a PSP game.
One of those ones for me on Facebook Marketplace.
No,
again, this is a PSP game. You guys are just sucking. Yes.
Now I feel like we got to play these.
I know. I'd probably not. All right. Game number 3. It's still 0-0. Mr. Mosquito, be positive.
Oh man, I just want to say not, just so I can keep this going. I'm going to go with not, because one of these times I'm going to hit it.
Okay. Hey, Andy's Googling. Stop Googling.
No, I'm not Googling.
He's looking off screen.
Yeah, he's looking at his PSP collection right now.
Yeah. If that is a game, I don't think it came out, but I'd say no.
Positive, that's funny.
No. So that one is not an actual game. I made that one up. So
we're tied.
1-1. Okay, game number 4. Are you there? Oh, wait. Nope. I pronounced that wrong. That's not a game. Are You Alice?
What? How did you get Alice and Bear mixed up?
I don't know. My brain was going there.
Are You Alice?
A while. With a question.
I'm going to say yes to this one.
No.
It is, in fact, a PSP game.
Oh.
So,
Andy, I'm winning. You're losing.
2-1. 2-1. All right, next one.
PSP. I know my PSP.
Next one, Snoopy's Adventure.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be.
I don't think so.
It is not a PSP game.
Dang it, we're tied.
Well, I guess I didn't look, but I made it up, so I'm assuming it's not.
Oh, this is rigged.
So 2-2, right? All right, next one, Nico no Pico. That one's just fun to say.
Yes, it is one. It's a title release.
Yeah, sounds. Yeah.
Okay, well, no, I made that up. That is not a PSP game. Man. Not a PSP game at all.
Well, you played it well because you're like, I liked reading that one or whatever. And so I was like, oh, this is a real one.
It sounds real. There's a lot of Nico sounding titles on the PS. So it was still tie game, 2-2. Next one up, B-Boy. There's a dash between the. He's not a B, the capital B dash boy.
Oh yeah, that's a game.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, it is. Yeah, that is. I don't know what kind of game. That is a game.
Breakdancing. It's a breakdancing game.
Probably. So what are we now? 3-3 tie game still. Next one up. Next one up. Brooktown High.
Yes.
No.
It is a PSP game.
Dang it.
Andy's in the lead by 1. All right, next one.
You sound stupid.
Cabela's Trout Slayer.
I'm going to say no.
Good. That is in fact not. I was trying to think of something that might sound like a Cabela game, but
the Trout Slinger.
Trout Slayer is a little tough.
Trout Slinger.
Trout Slinger is a completely different property.
I was like, what is a Trout Slinger?
I don't know. Oh gosh. So Andy's still ahead by 1. Next one, Loco Roco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that is in fact a game. That's the one Andy would probably know.
Because he owns it.
So Andy's still up by 1. Next game, Darius Burst. Am I playing into Nate's favoritism, or am I throwing him off?
It's on there.
What am I doing?
It's on there.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I mean, it seems like a pretty good bait and switch.
It's not Chronicles. It's just Darius Burst. That's a pretty common one. It's on there.
On a handheld that came out in 2000?
Yep.
I think the Vita had it, but I'll say no.
According to Wikipedia, it's on there.
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, tie game again.
Oh, this is getting good.
Yeah. We're about 2/3 of the way through the list, so you guys got to up your game. Next one, Gangs of London. Gangs of London.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it calls London out.
I mean, I would have not pegged that as an actual game, but you are correct. That is a game that came out.
I think we're learning that the more ridiculous they sound, the more their game.
All right, next one, Turtle Race.
Not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was going to get the guy who was near Perm on that one. But no, it is.
No,
it is not a game. Turtle Race is not. All right, this one's actually inspired by Biff. Half Minute Hero.
I don't get the joke. What's the joke about? Inspired.
I'll say yes.
Half minute? I can't even go that long. My goodness. Marathon runner? I'm going to say no.
That is a PSP game. So Andy's back in the lead. right? Or are we tied? I forget.
No, I'm actually up too.
No, you're not.
I've actually played that one.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're tied.
I played it last night. High five.
Nice. So next one, Illusion of Oolalia.
So the way you read that was like, yeah, I'm gonna say it with confidence. It's not a game. 100% not a game.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, no, that is not.
That is say that again.
Oolalia. It's that guy from that one documentary. Have you ever seen that?
No.
What is that? Freaking.
Oh,
he's that internet meme kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Death Blow. Sounds like a porno name again, also.
That sounds like a generic PSP game. Yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
All right. You are both wrong.
Ooh.
That is the movie that Jerry Seinfeld bootlegs in that episode of Seinfeld.
Oh.
So still tie game. Next one. International Cricket Captain 3.
No, it's a trick question.
Yes.
It is. It's a game. It sounds so stupid. Why would there be a 3? There were no other ones on PSP, but yes, Nate, Biff takes the lead. Sorry.
Bleep it
rough
out.
Night for me, right? Rough night for me. Okay, we got 2 left. So Andy, you have to nail these. Next one, Jungle Party.
I've been to one of those. I'm going to say no.
Did you both?
No.
You would know too? That is also a PSP game. So
that was the theme song.
Biff is currently in the lead. This could be the tiebreaker, or this could be the end of it for Andy.
Andy, I'm going to destroy you.
Last game, Fiddle Diddle.
Not a game. That's so good.
I'm going to say yes, because I have to.
You're right.
Any chance.
It is not, unfortunately. I wish that was on the... So...
Fiddle diddle, fiddle diddle, fiddle diddle.
Finally wins a challenge. This may be the first time you've...
This is the first time I've won a challenge.
In a game of chance. I like it.
I first and foremost would like to thank my sponsors.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dwayne's House of Pizza.
Dwayne's House. I couldn't come up with any sponsors on
I thought maybe you were pausing to call your AA sponsor. But,
well, nobody can question you about your knowledge of PSP games.
I should start collecting for it.
Oh, yeah.
Get a focused collection
get you guys
on
that. With,
You're just lucky. I was halfway through my development of Fiddle Diddle, and now I heard the store was closing, so...
It'll get released on like some like torrent site eventually, right? Someone's gonna find
limited run. Call me out.
Someone's gonna find a hard drive in a landfill somewhere. They'll be looking for Bitcoin, but they'll find the grand adventure of Fiddle Diddle, and the internet will never be the same.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's a PSP Go. So.
Oh crap! Now what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's another episode.
Speaking of PSP Go, I'll take us out of here. I don't know what that... No correlation there. But friends, thank you for listening. Do we have any emails?
No, but we want emails for the 100th episode. It's 2 away, people.
Send a whole bunch of emails. Create some fake accounts.
Hit us up on Twitter. We'll take that too.
Hit us. Tweet us. Poke us. Whatever you need to do on those social media. Swipe right on our profiles. We need those.
Need some half-minute heroes in here.
Yeah, half-minute heroes. Make sure you're following us on all of that social media, Twitter and Facebook, YouTube. You can send us an email at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com. As always, friends, be kind. Rewind.
Ryan's House of VHS.
Just got Douglas.
I played the PISP.